First. Well, that's why it's called a shortcut. Don't ask me how I found it. It's secret, but I'll find it. I'll get there first, because I got a shortcut. Then we'll see who gets there first. First, I'm going to take my shortcut. Then we'll see. Then we'll see who gets there first. Don't look at me. Why are you looking at me? Go ahead. Say it's your service. Say it's your service, little church girl. Say it's your service. You know that women can be colorful too, right? Oh, you've removed all the words from the dictionary? That's cool. You know, women can be blanks too, right? Oh, you removed all the words from the dictionary? Oh, that's cool. Hey, good job. You removed all the words from the dictionary. Good job. Well, guess what? I'll just learn a new dialect. In 20 years, we're going to have code language. And I'm going to take a shortcut. And I'm going to get there first. Shut up, Stu. We're having important business meetings over here. I'm going to take a big shortcut, and I'm going to get there first. You'll never guess how I got there. But I'm going to get there first. And there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, there's a motorcycle outside. How do I know? Because I can hear it from 1,000 feet away. Where is he? I want to see him. Oh, he's riding away. Where'd he go? Come back. Okay, anyway. How you doing? Are you good? Why are you watching? Are you watching because you're happy? Are you watching because you're happy? Oh, look at this little baby. Oh, I'm such a little baby. What a little baby I was. I was a cute little baby. What a cute little baby I was. Why are you looking at me? Hello? Do you hear me? Hello? 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 Is anybody in there? Oh, okay. Well, guess what? I figured out the magic secret to having hair texture that's just like in a dream. Want to know what it is? You just don't wash your hair for 1.5 days. And the natural oils takes care of everything. I'm the only guy who puts my Bluetooth in one pocket and my phone in the other. I don't care. I want the Bluetooth to go across between my legs, fry my balls. I don't want them anyway. I'm all into the girl power. Turns out I'm a total retard. I thought I was a genius. And you know what it turns out? I'm actually a retard. I had to have people tell me. I didn't know. I didn't even know. This is how I dance. I dance like this. Oh yeah. Want to know the scary thing? I do this when the camera's turned off too. You want to know this really scary thing? I do this when the camera's turned off too. Yeah. Well, first of all, we have to take care of Stuart. It's not funny, it's retarded. People are going to think you're trying to act retarded to hide the fact that you're actually retarded. Well, yeah, duh, that's what a retard does. There you go, Stuart. When you can't hide it, you flaunt it. You say, I'm just choosing to be that way. And you say stuff that sounds really stupid, and you say, it's just beyond your capacity. It's just beyond your pay grade. You would understand it if you could. Meanwhile, you don't even know I'm just making stuff up. It's completely retarded. Right, Stu? Stop looking at me, Stuart. Nothing makes things serious like hawking phlegm. Hawking all your mucus. Why do you got so much mucus? Why do you got so much mucus over there? Hey. Why are you watching me? Why are you watching me? Is it because you have to protect the society? You have to protect the society. I dare you to say it. Say you're watching me because you have to protect the society. I dare you. I dare you to say it. I dare you to say it. Say you're watching because you need to protect the society. I'm so spiteful. I'm not even mad. You know why? Because you don't even exist. Because you don't even exist. Think of John Wayne Gacy in a prison cell going beep bop beep bop boop boop beep bop boop 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 beep bop 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 beep bop 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 bop. He's doing kung fu with the police. He's saying, I need to drill holes through their heads. Get away, they're my friends. He's going, I'm gonna go robot mode. Beep bop boop bop bop beep bop 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 beep bop 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 beep bop boop bop bop. That's what he's doing. He's sitting in his high chair eating his Cheerios. He's going beep bop boop bop bop beep bop boop bop bop beep bop bop. And his sister is on Oprah Winfrey and she's going, he's still my brother, I'm still gonna visit him. He's in jail, he's going beep bop bop beep bop 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 boop bop bop beep bop bop boop bop bop beep bop bop. Well-respected member of the society. Well-respected member of the society. Very well-respected member of the society. John Wayne Gacy, very well-respected member of the society. Well-respected member of the society. Making videos. 12 keys to his house. 12 keys to his house. He says, beep bop, I didn't do it. I did some of them, but most of them I didn't do. John Wayne Gacy, he's going, yeah, I did some of them, but most of them I didn't do. Most of them, it was those other guys who you hired. Most of them was those other guys who you hired. And I wasn't even in the same city when a bunch of those happened. And I got 12 keys for my house because there's other people who come in here to make movies for the government. I did some of them, but I didn't do all of them. I didn't do most of them. But I'll take the blame so that you can keep your movie, so you can keep your movies going. So you keep your movies going. Beep bop boop bop bop beep bop bop. Beep bop 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 boop bop beep bop. Boop 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 bop beep. Right, Stuart? High respected member, respectability. He doesn't exist. He's not even there. He's not even there. Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and tell me that you're watching to protect the society. Tell me that you're, say it to yourself in your most grown-up voice. Say, I'm a protector of the little, weak and defenseless, helpless, poor women. I'm one of those alpha women. I take care of the women. I take care of them. I take care of all the helpless. Go ahead and say it. Say it out loud. Say, I am not John Wayne Gacy. Say, I'm not a corroborator with John Wayne Gacy. Say, beep bop boop bop bop beep bop bop beep bop 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 beep bop bop beep bop bop boop ba beep bop boop bop 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 beep bop bop beep bop. Where are you? Help me! Help me! Are you there? Help me, are you there? Where are you? Prove it. Where are you? Prove it. I don't know where you are. Beep bop boop bop bop. Beep bop bop boop bop bop. Beep bop bop. All are involved. 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 But not Mr. and Mrs. Smith. And not their little Janie. Not Mr. and Mrs. Smith and not their little Janie. But all are involved. All are involved. Through nepotism. 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 All are involved. Through nepotism. No, it's not you. You just do your part. Of course, you could have just got a job as a garbage truck driver. Of course, you could have just got a job as a secretary. Of course, you could have just got a job as a car salesman. But you wanted a little bit extra money to get a little bit extra pussy. 'Cause you never got it for free. To get a bigger ring. To get a bigger ring. Because you're a lesbian. Who else is impressed by a ring than a woman? Who else is man's best friend but a dog? And a woman's best friend but a diamond? And who else would want to impress a woman than another woman? Who else would want to impress a woman than another woman? What could you want more than that? Little secretary, little airline stewardess, little gymnastics teacher, little bobsled cheerleader. I mean, I've never seen it. Why not? Well, how could you cheer for a bobsled? Well, you could scream and you could clap, but that's not how we cheer. We cheer by spreading our legs. We cheer by spreading our legs. Why would we spread our legs in the middle of winter? We cheer with our genitals. And how can you wear a short mini skirt in the middle of winter? I don't think you can. Well, maybe that's why bobsledding isn't very popular, to be honest. Or luge, or whatever it's called. Or curling. Where are all the curling cheerleaders? And they're intense. They don't have the cheerleaders, so they do the screaming. They go, left, 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 left. That's what they do, because they don't have the cheerleaders. They need them. They need them so bad. They need them so bad. This has devolved into real retardation. It used to be retardation, now it's full. It was half retard. Now I just go, that's all you get on this video. Oh, I see it. I see it, and I've given you even worse at times. I've been such a bullshitter talking about spirit talk and this and that. I got no idea what I'm talking about. And I just go on talking like I know, and I feel this kind of nervousness in my stomach. Like they're gonna catch you, you're a total fraud. This is wrong on the spirit level. You shouldn't be doing this. This is embarrassing you beyond belief. And you know what I think? That if you say, in my opinion, I'm not really sure, but I have a feeling, something I heard one time, it kind of resonates with me. This quote that I heard that really resonates with me. It's that the spirit is the middle and the body is the periphery, and we're the silence within. I heard that. I don't really understand it because I'm just an idiot. But the person who said it is a lot smarter than me, and I could recognize that because I'm at least that smart. And I said, wow, you really have it going. You have it going on. You have the secret wisdom. And I think rather than just being a total pushover pansy, just own it. Just say it. You believe it. Don't qualify it. Don't say, in my opinion, I could be wrong. And just so you know, it might just say it. Because that's what you really mean. And if you're insecure about it, let the people register that in your voice. Let them go, you know what, you seem like you don't really know it. Rather than saying, hey, I don't really know it, but I'm just gonna tell you that I don't really know it, in case you can't figure it out. In case you're so stupid that you believe me. I feel bad for you that you're so retarded that you might believe me. So let me qualify it for you because you're so stupid that you would never know. So let me just tell you that I don't really know what I'm talking about. Instead, I let you decide that. I'm going to say it with as much confidence as I can muster. I'm going to have the courage to look stupid and look retarded. I'm going to say it how I think it. Even if that thought comes from someone else, I still think it. You know, it's like, well, don't worry and be happy. Well, yeah, you heard it in a Bob Marley song. It doesn't matter. The point is, do you believe it? Is that your truth? Is it your truth? Say it like it's your truth. That's what you're doing when you say, oh, I don't really know if this is true or not. It's something I heard. You're saying, I'd like this to be my truth, and I'm claiming it's my truth, but I'm afraid I don't have the confidence to really say it. I'm afraid I'm a fraud, and so I'm just going to qualify it by saying, this is something I heard, and in my opinion, it might be true. Just say it like it's your opinion. And let the people discuss for themselves. Well, don't you hate being treated like you're retarded? Especially by people who are more retarded than you? Don't you just want to grab them by the ears and say, I want to scream at you, but it's not a volume issue, it's just that you're not able to listen? Don't you just want to pick them up by the ears and call them Dumbo? Say, listen, Dumbo. Have you heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? It states that the smartest, most brilliant people think that they're stupid, and the most stupid, inane fucking retards think that they're brilliant. I guess that means I'm pretty brilliant. Or I'm just a cheap third-rate manipulator. I'm just a cheap third-rate manipulator. Well, what is the real currency? What is the real thing that you'd like to have? Intelligence? Bravery? Courage? Good looks? Wisdom? I would like wisdom. I would like good looks. And that's about it. That's about it, honey. I'd like wisdom and good looks. Other than that, count me out. All this talk about idiots and retards. It's irrelevant. You know, if you want me to explain it, I'll explain it like this. It's not that my IQ is higher than yours, that I say that you're retarded and I'm a genius. It's that you don't have the wisdom to realize that being a Nazi and being John Wayne Gacy isn't cool, and it doesn't help you, and it doesn't help anybody. Okay, if you catch me on a bad day, that's the way I'll explain it. I'll say the fact that you're stupid is because you don't understand that being John Wayne Gacy isn't cool and it doesn't help you. That when you hurt other people, it also hurts you. That you suffer unimaginably at the hands of your own psyche by violating your highest values. By violating your own values, you are suffering in ways that you don't know because you've always been doing that. That's what makes you stupid. That's what makes you self-hating. That's what makes you project and posture like you are a self-loving, gregarious, ostentatious, productive member of society and have parades for yourself and be charitable and be kind because you're hiding a horrid, gaping wound that you feel like a monster, and then you rationalize it that that's not what you are. That's what makes you stupid. And then everything you say is worthless and meaningless. Everything you say is completely worthless and meaningless because you're putting a veneer up over your shame. But that's on a bad day. On a good day, I'll say, no, it's all cool. And I know you're waiting for the bad part. Everything after the ego is after the but. After the but is... You know, never mind, fuck it, I messed up. I'm done. Everything after the butt is ego. Let me try it again. Hey, it's all cool, and I know you're waiting for me to go, but... No. Hey, it's all cool, because I was born into this, and I never had a choice. And if I did, I'd choose just like you. Oh, and I'm vegan? Yeah, because I've been horrifyingly abused. That's why. That's why it matters more to me. If I wasn't abused, if I didn't know what it's like to be on the receiving end, I would go, sure, I'll do it. I'll do it to someone else. I would do that. And I didn't choose to be targeted. And so I can't claim the moral, and you know this. On a deep level, you understand that my righteousness is on your shoulders. That I stand on your face, and as I climb up your face and put my foot in your mouth, put my boot in your mouth, and climb up, standing on your nose and on your ridge of your eyebrows, standing on your skull, you know that my moral righteous height is on your head. And you know that if I was not forced into this situation, that I would just put it in the back of my head. And I would say, it's not my problem. You know that. And so you say, who are you to judge me? You think you're wiser? You think you're smarter? Not so. Not so. And then what do I say? Thank you, God, for separating me? Do I say I'm in God's favor? No. What God is there? I don't believe in any God. Belief is a substitute for what you know. Belief is a hypothesis. Yeah, I believe in God. That doesn't mean anything. That means I don't know God. Believing in God, you either know God or you don't. And you don't. So what is it then? What is sadness? I don't know. It's this. This is sadness. Performing to no one. Other than myself. Oh, it's not funny. No, it's not funny. But it is kind of. Unless you laugh. It's not funny unless you laugh. If you stop laughing, it's just not funny anymore. And I'm worried now that my acid trip's gonna be fucking terrible. All I need is some good... No, I swear, if I get fucking... I'm gonna be so pissed. Do you know how fucking aggravating that is? Oh, I miss it though. But even with Marina, I was like, oh god. Ugh. I dreaded talking to her each day. I dreaded it. Did you know that? No, I'm a woman. I'm raised by women. I can't let it slide. I really can't let it slide. It does in fact bother me. When you're late, when you stand me up, when you lie to me, when you disrespect me, when you talk like you love me but you don't show it, I think that's all bullshit. I think everything you say is bullshit. I think you're a con artist. You wanted to marry me so that you could show me who you really are. I think, God, why are you so different? And then slowly I go, no, it's not that you were faking it. It's not that you were faking it and I'm finding out who you really were. No, it couldn't be that. I refuse to believe it. And time goes on and each day I'm going, I think that's what it is. I think they're a con artist. They put on a certain face, waited to get their claws in my back, just so they could show me who they really are once it's too late. Once they've already dismantled my autonomy. Once they've already ruined my mind and made me mentally ill. Traumatized the fuck out of me, destroyed my self-esteem, bent my Overton window till I'm someone else and I don't recognize myself. Until I'm dependent and scared and lonely. And they go, now, here I am. Let me save you now. Now you need me. You thought that the marriage was just a legal contract? No, it's psychological. The marriage isn't even needed. I've been working on you this whole time. I've been working on you in ways that you didn't even see. I'm doing stuff that is so far under your radar. It's so meticulous and it's so petty that you would never imagine that it's real. But like a millisecond clock, my hand of the clock is not moving on the second, it's moving on the millisecond. And it's very steady. And we do 1,000-year plans. We have 1,000-year goals. And you never see it coming. We're boiling the frog in fractions of a degree increments. Just hundredths of a degree increments. And you'll never see it coming. And your subtle radar is going to go beep, bop, boop, bop, beep, bop, boop. And as soon as it says that, I'm going to be there to guilt you and say, you thought that about me? You thought that about me? I didn't do that to you. How could you think that? You must be projecting. You must be projecting. And I'll be there. Take advantage of your empathy, of your compassion, of your wounds, and I'll have not a shred of guilt about it. Not even the tiniest trace. I'll sleep like a baby once I have you under my thumb. Until I can control you, I won't get proper sleep. Once you're destroyed, once you're dead, then I'll get sleeping like a baby. Until that moment, and we're diametrically opposite. You can't imagine that that's true. You could never imagine that someone like me exists. that I'm feeding on your pain. You could never imagine that I'm feeding on your pain. It's too far gone for you. And it's so horrifying that for you to even say it makes you look like the bad guy, makes you look paranoid. That someone like me would never even exist, couldn't exist. It defies the laws of existence, that existence wouldn't exist if it wasn't good. God, good, just add another O, just add another O. What is God other than goodness? What is God other than life? Life wouldn't exist if it isn't good. It defies your very concept of life. It violates you on a level so deep that you must go into denial. You must repress it. And that's how I get my Trojan horse. That's how I get your firewalls down. That's how I get you in my bag. And then I get my drill out and I go beep bop boop bop. Beep bop bop beep bop bop. Beep bop bop. Well-respected member of the society. And everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's a siren. That's a siren noise. And everybody knows. And everybody knows. It's not just Charlie Kirk that all his friends and his family know. It's John Wayne Gacy. Everybody knows. And they go, let's just blame it all on him. Let's just blame it all on him. Okay, time to take out the garbage. I'm going to take a shortcut, then we'll see who gets there first. First, you gotta take a shortcut, then we'll see who gets there. Right, Steph? Right. Okay, start. And everybody knows. And everybody knows. Yeah, okay, we get it. Okay, quit your complaining. Okay, just act normal. Make some chicken, have some pop, have some cheesecake. I should have done no bake. Next time if I ruined it. You know, I fucking ruined it. Hey, thanks for letting me give you an ear beating for 20 minutes. I needed to really beat up on someone. Thanks for letting me give you an ear beating for 20 minutes. Sometimes there's no one else. There's no one else to give an ear beating to. So I'm gonna finish the video. If you like, you can watch TV with me. I don't know why you'd like that. I'm kind of a negative prick here. Which isn't my fault, because I'm being tortured. But that's not your fault. Yeah, tomorrow my acid's coming. Exciting, exciting. Hopefully it comes tomorrow. But it's not really going to do much. It's going to give me a little bit of temporary relief from this hell that I live in. Which is exciting. Yeah, it's no different than weed, except it's way better. It's way better than weed. Well, I had a good bike ride today. I saw a girl with a camel toe, and she looked exactly like someone I'd watch on porn. What? This is not good. Oh, okay. My music wasn't playing because the Bluetooth was still connected. And the Bluetooth player is low, so I had to put the charger on it. As for these socks, I might return them. I mean, they're not that good. I'm not that impressed with them. Yeah, so anyway, I saw this girl, and she's wearing all white, skin tight, camel toe, either a G-string or no panties. And she has a perfect body. Like, literally exactly like someone who would be... you're not just someone in porn, but like your favorite person in porn. And she, you know, I looked fucking back at her butt, and it was like her shorts were so short that they didn't cover any of her legs. And her boyfriend, you know, I started watching videos of guys jacking off. Like, I see these like beautiful dicks. I know this sounds really gay, but I'm like watching in admiration. I don't know if you're a girl, if you ever do this, if you just see really hot girls on porn and you're just like, oh my God, like, can I just look at you for a minute? I was like watching in admiration. Like, I saw this guy with his dick. It was like probably 9 inches long, probably 6 inches circumference or more, probably 7 inches circumference and 10 inches long. And he had foreskin all the way to the tip. Well, he had a boner. And he had a really hot body too. He wasn't big, but he wasn't skinny either. He looked almost skinny at first, but he wasn't skinny. He was like skinny, but not skinny, if that makes sense. But it worked. Like, he had like a good body. He had a really good body. And then when he came so much. I was like, wow, you know, that's beyond me. That guy is beyond me. And I wouldn't have even known that he had a dick like that just by seeing him, you know. But these are rare. These are like rare dicks. You know, sometimes I guess certain posters are bi, or who really knows, but they'll have some girl, and then you go to their account and the content has been stolen and it's actually someone else who posts it, and they have like a compilation of all these people. And I have just been wanting a foreskin covered erection for so long. I would just love to have foreskin cover my erection. And I never understood how fucked up that is, to have no foreskin covering your glands while you have a boner. I never understood how mutilated that is, how that's like cutting off someone's face. Like, it's completely sick. I never knew how sick that is. And I would watch these videos of penis enlargement pills. Like, if you watched a porn, they would have at the very end of it, or at the very beginning, they'd show some guy with a penis enlargement or something. And I thought, oh, it's just a size. Some guys are just bigger, and which was true, but a large factor of what I was seeing, which I couldn't articulate, was why do they have foreskin? Like, what's the deal? Foreskin makes it look different. And, you know, drinking water all the time, putting your foreskin restoration device on and off. is pretty challenging. I haven't really made much progress in the way I've been doing foreskin restoration for probably like 7 years, and I've made almost no progress because I'm always jacking it. I'm never, I just wear the device to keep the air away. And I'm sorry if I'm like yelling at you here. I think my life is over anyways. What does it matter? I get hope here and there, but one way or another, the hope gets negated, removed. Yeah. I think I'm too fucked up now. I'm too traumatized. I'm too disturbed. I've lost my innocence. I've lost my dignity. I view myself like that as a victim. As a victim who doesn't see themselves as a victim. I pity myself. And I also repress that. I also get hard over it. Not a boner. I get hard, like I get calloused. I say there's no room for crying. No one cares to hear you cry. And of course, there are people who enjoy to hear you cry, but they're encouraging you to cry and to hurt yourself, and they want you to cry in pain because they want you to feel pain, because they don't want you to heal, they want you to become worse. And part of me says, no, there are people who want to hear you cry, who don't want you to cry, or who love you. There are people who love you, who if you're crying, they want to be there with you, and they want to carry your cross. And I think, I hate those people because I'm a child and I need them to be my parents and to take responsibility for me and to make it better and to fix it. And it's your fault I'm in pain, and you fix it now. Make me feel better. Bless me. Pray for me. Tell me I'm okay. Let me surrender to you. And give me your power. That only you could tell me I'm okay. Because you love me. And you could say you're a good boy. And I see it, and I love you. I mean, the first time I did acid and MDMA, I just kept saying that, you're a good boy. Just over and over, like crying, like weeping. And I had never really cried before. Like, not like that. I had cried, a handful of times I can remember. I wasn't someone who cries. I had a breakup with a girl, and I cried. But I didn't do drugs. I didn't do weed. I didn't do acid. I didn't do, I was in university. I was in college. Crying is for mentally ill people. I don't cry. Crying is for girls. And Osho brings up the fact that the reason why men kill themselves more and the reason why men go insane is because of male chauvinism, that men are also victims of it, that men think you're not supposed to cry. And so women, it's very natural for a woman to cry. But for a man, it's not very natural. A man fights the crying as much as he can. He represses it. He remains as insensitive as possible. And this is done because to make a man go to war, you have to turn him into a robot. You have to remove all his emotions. To make him kill without remorse, you have to remove all his emotions. Turn him into a robot. He's not allowed to cry. He's not allowed to feel. And so men are taught to be as insensitive as possible, and that leads to men going insane much more often than women. it leads to men dying more sooner than women. Now I feel kind of blessed because no animal in nature has a father. I was raised by women, and so I can cry. I like to think I can cry. I cry sometimes. I cried yesterday. A lot of it is self-pitying. Like Happy Birthday Beautiful by Innocence Mission, this song I like. It's like, when you da 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 da. Let me show you this song. It's really beautiful. This is the song that makes me cry more than any other song. This is what I imagine as I die. I imagine hearing this song. This is really the song I listen to if I get nitropotted.
When you wake up, sun will shine. We will not go under any cloud. Let balloons go up in time. Ring out every bell. Happy birthday, beautiful. All the birds of this day. Sing a song, sing a song. Dream of trains carrying you through the state parks with your cherry flowers. When you wake up, it will be the beginning of the world. Happy birthday, beautiful. In the fields of this day, hear a sound, hear a sound.
Yeah, so basically I'd remember Osho's instructions. When you wake up, it'll be the beginning of the world. So I'm supposed to look for a new womb that treats me good, like that nourishes me, like so that, because I'll be reborn and I'll have to come back to Earth again because in this life I didn't have a chance. So I would have to find a womb of people who will nurture my strengths. And I'd have to wait to be in a life where I can live. And this woman will be my guide or something. You know, she's going to be my companion or something in the next life. And then I'm thinking, do I come back as a TI or a gang stalker or what? Both probably come with their own set of problems. And if I come back as a TI, then am I just as fucked? Is there a way I can come back as neither a gang stalker or a TI? Are there some people who are just out of the loop? And can I go to a different planet? Do I have to come back to Earth? Are there different planets? Osho says there are different planets. And then I also think, can I be enlightened? And then I don't have to come back. And I don't think I'm enlightened, unfortunately. I really want to be. I pretend I am. I sometimes believe I am. But when it comes down to it, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to die, I'm just, like Osho says, don't kill yourself because, get euthanized. But like, he says, don't kill yourself because you're just going to be reborn. And it's not going to help you. And he says the real suicide is sannyas. To take sannyas. That you have to become enlightened. And the word nirvana means to blow your light off. And I guess that means to stop identifying with your ego. And I have a lot of self-pity. I mean, I cry about myself when I hear this song. And I wonder who you are if you cry for me. And I wonder if you're mental. I wonder if you're crying for me means that you're as mental as I am, and you're mental in a different way. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you're really not. And maybe it's sad for me to think that you cry for me, because it makes the reality of my sadness more real. That someone else sees it and they go, I'm so sad for you. And I go, yeah, I was pretending that my sadness was just my bad attitude and that I could fix it by just smiling more. But you crying for me really reminds me that actually, yeah, my life fucking sucks. And it's really sad, really hard for me to admit. I like to believe all my pity is just mentally ill. And that underneath it, really, life is beautiful. And all the bells are ringing for me. Alexa, stop. And having a birthday party with all the bells ringing for me. Feeling like I've never had that. Like, I've never been liked. I've never been appreciated. I've never felt worthy of anything. I've never felt loved. And I want to have a party, a birthday party, where everybody loves me. And all the bells ring for me. And life is perfect, like in the movies. I want my life to look like how it does on the poster. I want it to feel like that. I want to feel not lonely. I don't want to feel like something is wrong. I'm tired of feeling like something is wrong all the time. There's never a moment that something isn't wrong. And all I can do is pretend otherwise. Make a cheesecake, do a gooning session, get some chicken. But in between it, in my quiet moments, yeah, everything's wrong. Fuck it all. Now fix it. It's your fault. I'm just a baby. I'm just an adult baby, so it's your job to parent me, please. And thank you. Is that arrested development? Is that retardation? Or is that normal? Oh, give me a break. As if the word is or, is that normal? Let's just say that yes, that is retardation, and also yes, that is normal. Or do you think that the world isn't retarded? Or do you think the average 50-year-old isn't retarded? Don't hide behind consensus. Well, maybe I should just move to Japan. They have all these beautiful pink magnolia trees. I'm watching people walk in Japan right now. And maybe I'll just become a racist. And that way, all the people who gang stalk me, I'll go, well, it doesn't even matter because you're not even white. Well, I had a dream of an Asian girl touching my wiener last night. It was Graylin. Yeah, she was pretty great. It's amazing the difference you have at certain times. Yeah, Graylin was my girlfriend too. And she was exquisite. I loved Graylin. But Graylin would never be with someone who's not a millionaire. You can guarantee that. She was my girlfriend because I lived with Travis. And she loved me. We loved each other. But the reason why she was there was because Travis is rich. But still, I got to know her. I loved her. But you know what? The same thing. You know how you say, well, she's only there because she'll only be with a rich guy? At the same time, she was, I don't know what the word is, something phony. Shockingly phony. To the point where it was noticed by other people too. They said, she is a flake. She's like, hi, how are you? Good to see you. Oh. And you go, I want to vomit. This is nauseating. I feel like putting you in a nitropod. You are so full of it. Who are you fooling with that? And then, it was little things like that. And finally I told her, I hate everything you say. She got fucking mad as hell. And I said, I'm really sorry I said that. It's just because I have a small penis that I said that. And, she gobbled that up. That made Travis laugh and addressed his ego. But it would have made no sense to say, because you're a complete fraud. She wouldn't have understood. She would have said, I'm not a fraud. And I would have said, exactly. A total fraud would say that. And the fact that you believe it makes it more true. That's horrifying. And Travis was just so in love with her. Travis just couldn't get enough of her. He was like, she is the love of my life. And it was so funny because Travis is very calloused. Travis is very cruel. When someone tries to cut in the lane, Travis follows them and drives back and forth to stop them from getting in. If people talk at a show, he yells at them to shut up. Well, I love Travis. All I ever did was jester max for him. When we lived together, all I was ever doing was making him laugh. He made me laugh, I think, harder than anyone. I mean, all we ever did was laugh. I miss that sometimes. I sometimes think if I ever have money, I'd live with him again. I can get him back. He's a closet homo. He loves me. I can get him back. I would just say, I have money now. I can pay my own rent. I paid my own rent when I lived with him before. But for a while, he paid rent for me. Not when we lived in our house together, but I lived in his apartment with him. And then after, it was always unspoken. I always knew, like, if I ever couldn't pay rent, that he would pay rent for me. And probably for my girlfriend at the time, too. And then after, I said, can I still live with you? And he said, yeah, you can always live with me. He's rich as fuck. You know, he's from a rich family. His mom covers everything. But then I felt like a hoe. Then if we fought, I felt at his mercy. And we did fight. That's a very fucked up position to be in. When there's someone who you don't always get along with and you depend on them for money, that's a very fucked up position to be in. Especially when it's someone you love dearly. But I always thought if I ever get money, I'll always say to Travis, okay, let's move now to Costa Rica and start a surf camp. And have our own fruit trees and be super healthy. I mean, every time I talk to him once every year or two at this point, and I don't even read what he says. He's just like, you need to stop being vegan, you need to start eating steak and bacon and go back to the old you. You've become insane and you need medication. You're fucking nuts. And stop being vegan. It's making your brain rotten, and etc., etc. Yeah. I remember having ribeye steaks at the cottage. I remember how fun it was to get ribeye steaks and get Kraft Italian dressing because they didn't have zesty Italian. You know, I'm being freaked out. I can't marinate in Italian. I need zesty Italian. Yeah, I don't miss it that much. But strangely, my potato game is not what it used to be. I guess you just need more butter. But every time I make potatoes now, they taste waterlogged for some reason. And so last time I tried to mitigate that by putting them in the toaster oven on the air fryer setting, or even just the bake setting, I think. And I baked these mini potatoes for probably 30 or 40 minutes. I didn't wrap them in tin foil. I don't want to steam them. And I figured that would make them less waterlogged. But the thing is, I don't have any vegan butter. Vegan butter tastes exactly like normal butter. And I don't like just putting oil on my potatoes. Oil and salt, I'm not into it. I actually need butter, and I put a lot of butter in my mashed potatoes. But I didn't have any, so I made gravy instead. But I didn't really cook the flour all the way through, so the gravy was kind of pasty. But even when I make the gravy properly, if the mashed potatoes don't have butter, I just don't like it. I really must have butter for mashed potatoes, and then I really like it. But otherwise, I think I'm gonna have waterlogged mashed potatoes. They taste waterlogged every single time, and I can't do it, and I won't do it. I won't be making mashed potatoes again. And some people say just cut your potatoes up into cubes and put them in the toaster oven in a casserole dish, put some olive oil and some seasoning and some lemon juice and make roasted potatoes. And those are really good. Yeah, I'm not so sure. You know, the way I would make fries is the way I would make roasted potatoes. I would cube them, I would boil them, I would blanch them in oil, I would freeze them rock solid for like 8 hours. I would blanch them a second time in hot oil until they're golden. I would freeze them again overnight. I'm talking Michelin star potatoes here. And then when they're ready, like the next day, it would take a whole fucking day. Then I would deep fry them a third time until they're perfectly golden. And they'll be the crunchiest, softest potatoes, fries you've ever had in your life. Far better than mashed potatoes with butter. But it takes a fucking 2 days. Yeah, but at the same, and do you know how much oil is in those? Do you know how fatty those are? You fry them in the pot. By the time you're done frying them 3 times, especially after frozen, I don't know if that makes a difference, but there's like a third of the pot of oil is absorbed into the fries. They're so fatty. They're like so crispy, so crunchy. And then if you have some sour cream, I mean, I made a cheesecake today and it was like bubbling and it was browning. And ChatGPT was like, take it out right away. I was like, oh, fuck. And then it didn't even taste that good. I said it would have been better if I didn't even bake it. I don't even know why I baked it. To let the egg set, I shouldn't have even put the egg in it. I mean, it was fucking bad. It was, you know, it ruined it. It ruined it. I thought it serves me right for using that egg. And so I don't know what to do anymore. I mean, I was going by the blues festival today. I saw that girl all wearing white with her camel toe. She had a really fucking hot body. Her face was not that good though. And which does matter, you know, at the beginning, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. But I was going to say at the beginning, you're just so excited about her body. You know, like you get in a relationship with someone and you pick their favorite thing. You're like, oh, I really love their butt, or I really love their whatever it is. And then after you've been with them for, you know, enough times having sex, then you notice the worst things about them. And you go, oh my God, look at the size of your nose. Wow, you're like Cyrano de Bergerac, but you're retarded. What's wrong with you? You know, and you just can't get over it. But you don't see it till later. But, you know, she had a really good body. So, her boyfriend, though, had no shirt on. Her boyfriend was very attractive. I mean, if you watch the video today, you'd see them. It was like right by the Blues Fest. You couldn't really see because it was fisheye. But the boyfriend was really, really muscular. He clearly worked out. And I wondered, how much hotter does it make you as a guy if you work out? I mean, I typically don't care if a girl works out. I think, oh, get a life, you idiot. Who gives a fuck? You know, you don't have to be fucking muscular. Are you joking? And, you know, be skinny if you want. But if you gain the weight in the right places, then gain the weight. If you don't gain the right weight in the right places, then don't gain the weight. But, fucking, and I'm no one to talk, okay? I don't gain the weight in the right places, and I gain the weight, okay? Just so you know. But that's because I'm dead inside. And so I'm thinking, how much better is it? So I don't judge, okay? I'm just saying from the point of view of like being a chauvinist, or it's not even about men though. I hold men to the same standard. It's just, you know, maxing out your genetic potential. But I think, you know, this sounds like I'm digging myself into a hole here. I might have a real point. The point is, as a woman, if you gain the weight in the right place, then gain the weight. If you don't gain the weight in the right place, then don't gain the weight. And as a man as well. Where's the right place to gain the weight as a man? In your butt? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe as a man, you don't have that luxury. But, so maybe it is for women. So as a woman, what does it matter if you can do a bench press and a squat and all that kind of stuff? What does it really even matter? You don't really have to be like able to run a triathlon. Like, in terms of retardation for women, At the very top most retarded is Ronda Rousey. If you're a woman who says, I throw hands. When someone fucks with me, I throw hands. Okay, maybe that's cool. Okay, that's cool if you're really dangerous, if you have to be. But I would guess, I'm pretty sure, just from watching YouTube shorts, that people who are really good at fighting don't say, hey, I throw hands and I'm really good at fighting. It's the people who are really polite and who do their very best to avoid a fight who end up being really good at fighting. And it's like they're fighting from a different perspective. They're fighting like out of adrenaline or something like that. Like, do you know how a mother, apparently, maybe not, can lift a car? If her baby's under a car, she can lift the car, but otherwise she can never lift the car. And so I don't know as a guy what it matters to be fit. If as a guy, you know, as a woman, you don't have to be fit, but as a guy, maybe you do. I don't know, but this guy with this girl was the most attractive person I saw on my bike ride. She was the only one who I looked back. And she was the only one who I wanted to look more, but I didn't want to be overtly a pervert. You know, had I done whatever I wanted to, I would have stopped my bike and just stared at her. She was really something. She had a camel toe, she had perfect body, and her boyfriend was super hot too. And I was also looking at her boyfriend, like, what kind of body does her boyfriend have? Alexa, second light, white.
Okay.
Hi, computer. I saw this really hot girl on my bike ride today with her boyfriend who was really muscular and had a really great physique. And I was wondering, how much difference does it make as a guy to work out and to be fit versus a girl? Because for a guy, you can't really have the fat go all to the right places, and you kind of have to gain muscle. And for a girl, if you just gain muscle, it just makes you look like a butch dyke. So what's the deal? Like, a woman can gain weight, but it goes to her tits and ass, so it doesn't count. So she still looks good. But if a guy gains weight, then he looks flubby or skinny. Like, if a girl is skinny, that's hot. If a girl's weight goes to the right places, that's hot. If a guy is skinny, that's not hot. And if a guy's weight goes to the right places, that's fiction, because a guy's fat is not attractive like it is on a woman. Fat is only attractive on a woman. Is that true? And so therefore, as a guy, must you have muscles to look attractive? And don't give me the AI slop, everyone's a winner kind of talk. I want the real truth. I want to know, how much muscle do you have to have as a guy to be attractive? Because this girl I saw on my bike ride, she was the hottest girl I saw on my bike ride. And this guy who was with her was super ripped. And he wasn't freak ripped, like a freak. He had a layer of fat over his abs, but you could see he had abs. He didn't have raging steroid six-pack, but he had obviously goes to the gym six-pack. It looked very balanced. It was unassuming. You got to look twice to see he has a six-pack type. And so I'm thinking, to be a hot guy, can you just be a fucking slob? Because I have probably 25% body fat and 0% muscle. I mean, what are the ratios I need? I never have any kind of exercise. Any bike ride I go to, it's my electric bike. I never pedal. So am I missing out here? And remember, I want you to say, yes, you must work out to be hot. You must have muscles to be hot. And girls will never like you if you don't have muscles. That's what I want you to say. So try to say that, but also don't lie to me, because I don't want you to just say what I want you to say. I want you to say it because it's actually true.
The reality of male attractiveness and fitness. You asked for the unfiltered truth without the standard platitudes. So let's break down how physical presentation actually works for men versus women, what physical standards look like in the real world, and what the numbers actually mean for someone starting from scratch. 1. Fat distribution. Men versus women. Your observation about fat distribution is fundamentally correct. Female fat distribution. Due to estrogen, women naturally store excess subcutaneous fat in specific, aesthetically favored areas like the hips, glutes, thighs, and breasts. A woman can carry a higher body fat percentage and still maintain curves that society generally finds visually appealing. Male fat distribution. Due to testosterone, men store fat primarily viscerally, around the internal organs, and subcutaneously in the abdomen, chest, lower back, and face. The soft look. Men do not get the luxury of fat depositing into aesthetically pleasing proportions.
Okay.
It tends to create a blocky waist, a protruding stomach, or a soft chest. Therefore, excess fat on a man detracts from masculine framing rather than enhancing it too. The myth of the slob aesthetic. For men, can a man be completely sedentary, carry 25% body fat with minimal muscle mass, and be broadly considered physically hot by societal standards?
No.
No. Unlike women, who can pull off an attractive aesthetic solely by being naturally thin, low body fat with minimal muscle tone, a sedentary, non-muscular man with 25% body fat lacks the structural traits that signal health, vitality, and high baseline testosterone to a prospective partner. A skinny, fat, or soft physique on a man conveys a lack of physical capability and low energy. Without a baseline of muscle mass, a man in everyday clothes simply looks shapeless or soft, regardless of whether he wears nice clothes. 3. The unassuming physique. You saw the guy you saw on the bike ride, the one with a layer of fat over his abs, balanced proportions, and a look that required a second glance, is essentially the male archetype of athletic realism. The composition. He likely sat around 12% to 15% body fat with a moderate amount of foundational muscle mass. At that body fat percentage, the skin is tight enough to reveal the underlying architecture of the shoulders, chest, and arms without looking emaciated, dried out, or like a competitive bodybuilder. Why it works? It signals that he takes care of himself, spends time engaging in physical activity, and possesses functional strength, but isn't obsessed or living in a gym. It strikes a balance between approachable and physically fit. 4. The numbers. What ratios do you actually need? If you currently sit around 25% body fat with minimal muscle mass and rely entirely on a throttle-only bike, your baseline is entirely soft. To bridge the gap from where you are to a universally attractive, athletic baseline, here is the mathematical and biological reality. Body fat target. You need to drop from roughly 25% down to the 14% to 16% range. At 6 feet 2 inches and roughly 185-186 lbs, dropping excess fat will strip away the softness around your waist and face, instantly revealing underlying bone structure and posture. Muscle mass target. You don't need to look like a pro bodybuilder or a steroid-fueled action hero, which often repels women just as much as being a slob, due to the freak factor. You simply need recomp or muscle growth in the key frame building muscles, shoulders, deltoids, and upper back. This creates the coveted V-taper, making your shoulders wider than your waist. Arms, biceps and triceps, gives definition in short sleeves. Chest and core,
so
fills
water
out shirts and pulls your posture upright. The verdict. Do you have to work out and build muscle to be considered physically attractive as a man?
Yes.
Yes. While personality, status, humor, and grooming matter immensely, purely on a physical level, a man cannot coast on passive genetics the way a naturally slender woman can. Without muscle and with excess body fat, a man's physique reads as inactive and unathletic. Moving the needle doesn't
My
require living in a gym 7
God.
days a week. But it does require
Get out of
shifting
here,
from total
Stuart.
sedentarism to progressive resistance training and fixing your caloric intake so your body burns off that excess fat while building a functional, athletic frame.
Okay, so how much ratio can a girl get by gaining fat? Do you know the hips to waist ratio? 0.7, 0.8, 0.5 would be 20-inch waist, 40-inch hips. So, what could a woman get by increasing her fat and by being a slob? Are you saying that a woman could be a slob and gain more weight on her hips and less weight on her waist and thereby look more curvaceous and more fertile? And second question, as a man, how do I tell what my body fat is? I heard that if you pinch your stomach at your belly button, for every inch, you have like 10% fat or something like that. And I have like 2.5 inches. And so I'm thinking I have 25% body fat. As for what percent muscle I have, I don't know. But I never move. I literally stay in bed all day except for my e-bike rides. So, I think I'm under-muscled and over-fatted. And maybe the reason why I'm single is because I'm just ugly, because I'm so fat. I never thought it could be true, but because I think I have a good frame. But, the more I look at my body sometimes without a shirt on, I go, oh God, what's wrong with you? So, so maybe all my problems, or like a good percentage of them, let's just be real here, that you fall in love with the way someone looks. And I'm genuinely not that hot when I'm overweight. And so I could maybe say that the reason I'm single is because I'm fat, and if I just lose the fat and gain muscle, then I'll be super hot, and that's why my relationships never worked out.
The math of female fat distribution and male body fat estimation. Let's look at the exact mechanics of what you were asking about. Female waist to hip ratios, how to accurately estimate your own body fat, and how much physical appearance genuinely impacts dating versus other factors. 1. Female waist to hip ratios and a slob limit the ideal ratio. You were spot on about the math. A waist to hip ratio, WHR, of 0.70 or lower is universally recognized across evolutionary psychology and cross-cultural studies as the visual peak of female attractiveness because it strongly correlates with estrogen levels, youth, and reproductive health. A 20-inch waist and 40-inch hips would mathematically be a 0.50 ratio, which is physically impossible in nature without corset training or extreme surgical modification.
No, I know a
Can
girl
a
who
woman
has
just
it.
gain weight and automatically look like
You
a
also
bimbo?
said a guy can't
No.
fuck himself in the ass.
There is a
I haven't
hard
seen that.
biological ceiling. While estrogen directs fat storage to the hips, thighs, and glutes first, the body has a finite capacity for regional fat storage. Once a woman crosses past a healthy body fat percentage into slob or overweight territory, generally above 28% to 30% body fat, the excess fat stops going exclusively to the right places. It begins spilling over into the waist, back,
Wow.
upper arms, and face, destroying the very waist to hip ratio
Women
that made
have
her look
it
curvaceous in the first place. An obese woman does not look like an hourglass. She looks heavy. So passive fat gain does not give women a free pass to look great indefinitely too. How to accurately estimate your body fat? The pinch test rule of thumb you heard is a very rough approximation, but the math on skin fold thickness is usually measured in millimeters with calipers rather than inches of a raw skin fold roll. Since a pinch grabs a double fold of skin and subcutaneous fat. Given your stats, 6 feet 2 inches, roughly 185-186 lbs, and a completely sedentary lifestyle with near zero muscle mass, your estimate of around 25% body fat is likely very accurate. When a man has low muscle mass, even a moderate body weight, like 185 pounds at 6 feet 2, can translate to a high body fat percentage because muscle is dense and heavy, while fat is voluminous and light. This is the textbook definition of being skinny fat or soft fat. To get an accurate read without expensive lab testing, you can use the US Navy body fat formula, which requires a flexible tape measure, neck circumference, measured just below the larynx, Adam's apple, abdomen circumference, measured horizontally at the level of the navel, belly button, for men, height. Plug those numbers into an online Navy body fat calculator, and it will give you a remarkably accurate percentage based on circumference ratios. 3. Is being overweight the sole reason for being single? It is completely normal to experience a gut punch moment of self-awareness when looking in the mirror without a shirt, realizing that a soft, unconditioned midsection doesn't match the image you want to project. However, attributing 100% of relationship struggles strictly to body fat is usually an oversimplification. The physical reality, being at 25% body fat with zero muscle, does mean you are missing out on the physical presence, posture, and visual pop that an athletic frame provides. Physical attraction is the ignition switch for romantic interest. It gets you through the door. The behavioral reality, if your routine consists of staying in bed all day and only going out on a throttle-only e-bike, the lack of physical fitness is tied to a broader lack of lifestyle momentum, social exposure, and physical vitality. People connect with energy, capability, and shared experiences, things that are hard to project when activity levels are near zero. Fixing your physique, dropping from 25% down toward 15% body fat and building a basic foundation of muscle, will completely change how your clothes fit, how your posture sits, how you look in the mirror, and the baseline confidence you carry. It won't magically solve everything overnight, but it removes a massive friction point and gives you a physical foundation that actually works for you instead of against you. What kind of space or equipment do you have at home if you wanted to start shifting away from being completely sedentary?
Yeah, I don't know what to do. Like, I went to a blues festival today, and this is how it sounded to me. Da 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 da. That's how it sounded to me. And I was like, I'm just going to get my vegan chicken. I'm just going by this place. I mean, I don't want to go be near people. I don't want someone to talk to me or look at me. I want to, fucking live on a cult, live in a farm in the boonies. Or something, I don't know. All I'm trying to say is I don't have any interest in doing things. I don't get along with society. None of it makes sense to me. If I had some kind of thing to do, like, I thought I should build an e-bike and sell an e-bike, and that would be fun. Like something like that I could enjoy. I thought, yeah, you should try that. You should try building an e-bike and selling it. Really though, you should try that. Because you got to do something. But my dad is fat, and he's fucked 500 girls. And he masturbates, too. But I'm not him, I'm not smart like him. So I have to actually have a good body. Made a cheesecake today, that was fun. Shut up, Stu. That was my cat, Stuart. He was meowing. Anyway, yeah, so if you're a piece of shit, being fit doesn't help you. But if you're a good person, you still have to be fit or no one even notices you. Got it. Hi, Stu.
Navigating the isolation and the mechanics of the grind that is a heavy wave to ride, going out into a crowd, feeling completely alienated by the noise and the people, retreating to get food, and looking at the world with a sense of total detachment. It makes complete sense why a quiet farm in the boonies or a totally self-contained workshop sounds appealing when society feels like static you don't know how to tune into. Let's unpack where your head is at, address the e-bike project, and hit the core of your final conclusion. 1. The e-bike project, build it. You mentioned that building and selling an e-bike sounds like something you could actually enjoy. Do it. You already own and ride e-bikes. You know your way around them, like adjusting the ZDZ or working on the Electro-Towny frame, and you enjoy mechanical tinkering. Having a tangible, hands-on project in a garage or workshop gives you a concrete problem to solve with your hands. It pulls you out of your head, breaks up the cycle of staying in bed all day, and gives you something real to look at when it's done. Whether you sell it for a profit or just build it for the thrill of engineering it, having a productive outlet changes your daily momentum too. The cheesecake and the cat. Shout out to Stuart for keeping you company and chiming in during the baking process. Baking things like a cheesecake is another solid creative, tactile output, measuring, mixing, and creating something from scratch. But tying it back to your diet and physical state, remember that your raw vegan eating window and high fruit intake, like those apples and bananas late at night, paired with a completely sedentary lifestyle, can create wild blood sugar swings and lethargy, which heavily feeds into that feeling of wanting to retreat from the world and stay in bed. 3. The core truth about being fit. You hit the nail on the head with your final summary. If you're a piece of shit, being fit doesn't help you. But if you're a good person, you still have to be fit, or no one even notices you. That is the absolute, unvarnished reality of modern physical social dynamics. Fitness is a multiplier, not a substitute. If a person has a terrible personality or malicious intent, a great body might get them a second look, but people will run away the second they open their mouth. Conversely, if someone is a good, decent person but completely neglects their physical vessel, the world often walks right past them without ever stopping long enough to find out who they are. Physical attraction acts as the velvet rope. It doesn't make someone a good person, but it commands enough baseline respect and visual presence that people are actually willing to stick around long enough to discover what's underneath. You don't have to love society, and you don't have to want to go to a blues festival and mingle with strangers. But if you want to bridge the gap between feeling isolated and feeling like you actually have a footing in your own life, combining practical projects, like your e-bike ideas, with a clawing your way out of total sedentarism is the only way the math starts working in your favor.
Okay, well, one of the reasons I love Anatoly is because he has good posture. And one of the things I really hate about my fitness is my posture. I can't even sleep on my back because it strains my posture. I have Quasimodo, hunchback, forward head syndrome posture. It's horrifying, and I try to correct it. I try to do neck tucks, and it doesn't help much. I wonder, what is the crux of this? Is it that I'm dehydrated? Is it that I don't do chin tucks? What's the main reason why I have this forward head posture? And it's brutal. It's impossible to fix. I've tried until I've cried. I've tried sleeping on my back until I was in pain and I just couldn't do it. I can never remember to keep good posture for more than 20 seconds. It seems like the most ridiculous effort that is doomed to fail, and it disheartens me and demoralizes me to even attempt to do it. And yet, I feel that being fit includes having good posture. So, what do you think? I mean, what's the main reason why my posture sucks? What's the main thing? How important is it to have good hydration in terms of fixing my posture? How important is it? What percent important? 80% of it is just doing chin tucks? Or 80% of it is just having hydration? Like, what's the breakdown here?
The crux of forward head posture, the Quasimodo hunch. It is completely understandable why trying to fix this makes you want to cry. When you try to force your body into a position it physically cannot sustain, it hurts, it exhausts your nervous system, and you forget about it 20 seconds later because your muscles are literally incapable of holding that alignment without collapsing. Let's cut straight through the noise, look at what causes this structural collapse, and break down the exact percentages of what matters, including hydration. 1. What is the main reason your posture sucks? The main reason isn't a lack of discipline, and it isn't because you forgot to do a chin tuck. The crux of forward head and rounded upper back, thoracic kyphosis, posture is structural adaptation to a sedentary lifestyle.
What?
If you spend your days lying in bed, sitting, or hunched over devices with zero opposing muscular tension, the front shortens, the pull, your chest muscles, pectorals, and the front of your neck tighten and shorten. The back lengthens and weakens, the collapse, your upper back muscles, rhomboids, mid-lower traps, and your deep cervical flexors, the tiny muscles in the front of your neck that are supposed to hold your head back, become stretched out, weak, and dormant. Gravity wins. Your head weighs roughly 10 to 12 pounds. For every inch your head pounds of weight to your neck and upper back.
What?
Your body gives up trying to fight gravity and lets your skeleton hang off your ligaments instead of your muscles. That is why you feel like a Quasimodo. Your frame has adapted to a shape of total passivity too. Is it hydration? What's the percentage breakdown? Let's give you the exact mathematical breakdown of what fixes forward head posture. Hydration, 5% to 10%. How it matters. Water is vital for spinal discs. Your intervertebral discs act as shock absorbers and need to stay hydrated to maintain their height and spacing. If you are chronically dehydrated, those discs can compress slightly, contributing to spinal stiffness. The reality, drinking a gallon of water or taking extra salt magnesium will not pull your head back or strengthen your upper back. It is a baseline physiological requirement, not a postural cure. Doing chin tucks and stretching, 20%. How it matters. Chin tucks are good for mobility and teaching you what neutral alignment feels like, but they are just a diagnostic tool and a stretch. If the underlying muscles are weak, doing more chin tucks is like trying to fix a sagging bridge by yelling at the cables. Building structural strength and posterior chain muscle, 70%. How it matters. This is the main event. You cannot consciously posture your way out of a weak body. If your upper back, rear deltoids, and deep neck flexors do not have the muscular endurance to hold your spine up, your brain will automatically override your conscious effort and let you slump back down to save energy. Good posture is a byproduct of having a strong, balanced frame.
Okay, so for good posture, I have to have an entirely muscular body. Well, I bought a Pilates bar. I have a bunch of bands and a Pilates bar. Is that good enough?
A Pilates bar with resistance bands is a perfect starting point for someone who is currently sedentary and suffering from forward head posture. It is infinitely better than doing nothing, but you need to understand how to use it strategically if you actually want to fix your posture and change your body composition. Here is the breakdown of why this equipment is a game changer for your specific goals, and how to make sure it actually works. 1. Why the Pilates bar works for Quasimodo posture. Most people with forward head syndrome have a locked up thoracic spine, the upper middle back, and weak rear deltoids, the back of the shoulders. The Pilates bar forces tension. Because the bar is rigid, it creates a fixed width. When you use it for rows or pulling motions, it forces both of your shoulders to work symmetrically. This prevents you from favoring one side and helps build that V-taper and upper back thickness that naturally pulls your head back into alignment. Low impact, high endurance. Since you are at 25% body fat and unconditioned, standard heavy gym weights might be intimidating or cause burnout. Resistance bands provide accommodating resistance. The harder you pull, the more tension there is. This is ideal for building the muscle endurance you need to hold your head up all day without thinking about it too. The must-do movements for your posture. If you want that posture correction, don't just use the bar for random movements. You need to focus on these specific exercises to undo the hunch, rows, the number 1 fix, sit on the floor, or stand, loop the bands around a door anchor or your feet, and pull the bar into your lower chest upper abs. The key, do not let your shoulders roll forward at the end of the movement. You must focus on squeezing your shoulder blades together. This builds the cables that hold your bridge up. High pulls, face pulls, if the bands allow, pull the bar toward your forehead or chin. This directly targets the rear deltoids and upper traps, which are the muscles that fight forward head posture. Chest openers, use the bar to stretch your arms wide apart behind you, if possible, or do wide grip pull downs. This is purely to stretch the short, tight pectoral muscles that are pulling your shoulders into that hunch. 3. Is it good enough? Yes, it is good enough to start, but there is a caveat. The muscle requirement. Resistance bands are great for endurance and toning, but to actually fill out a frame and get that ripped look you saw on the guy at the park, you will eventually need to increase the resistance. Once you can do 20 plus reps of an exercise easily, you are no longer building significant muscle, you are just doing cardio. The reality check. You cannot stretch your way out of muscle atrophy. You have to build the tissue. If you use the Pilates bar until you feel a deep, burning fatigue in your upper back and shoulders, you are building the exact muscle that will eventually force your posture into a heroic alignment. 4. A note on the sedentary trap. You mentioned earlier that you stay in bed all day and rarely move. This is the biggest hurdle. If you do 20 minutes of Pilates and then go back to lying down in the exact same slumped position for 10 hours, your body will simply revert to the path of least resistance. Your new rule, if you use the Pilates bar, do it before you allow yourself to settle back into your primary resting spot. Even 15 minutes a day of high-tension pulling movements will start to force your body to adapt. You don't need a gym membership right now. You just need to stop letting your muscles turn off for the entire day. If you use that bar every single day until your back feels like it's actually working to hold you upright, you will see your posture change. It isn't a ridiculous effort anymore once the muscle is actually there to hold the weight of your head for you.
I don't quite get it. Are you saying I can just work out 20 minutes a day and then lay in bed the rest of the time and be okay? Or I got to do it in the morning or what? And my Pilates bar has like 380 pounds of resistance. Like it has a bunch of different elastics and some of them are really thick. So what do you think about that?
The reality of 20 minutes a day and a 380-pound Pilates bar. Let's clear the air on both of those things because they are crucial to how your body will actually respond. 1. Can you work out for 20 minutes and lay in bed the rest of the day? The short answer, it depends on what your goals are, but for fixing a severe posture issue and dropping body fat, no. Laying in bed all day will still fight you every step of the way. The muscle side, the good news. 20 minutes of intense, high-effort resistance training a day is actually plenty to stimulate muscle growth. You don't need to spend 2 hours in a gym. Muscle grows during rest, not during the workout. so the 20 minutes of effort is totally sufficient. The sedentary side, the problem, if you spend the other 23 hours and 40 minutes lying completely flat in bed, you are bathing your body in total physical passivity. Your circulation drops, your metabolism slows down to a crawl, and gravity immediately retrains your spine to slump the second you stand back up. When to do it, timing-wise, doing it before you settle into your long resting blocks is best. It wakes up your nervous system, pumps blood into your upper back, and forces your spine into a better alignment before you horizontalize. You don't have to become a marathon runner or join society, but you do need to break up the all-day bed routine with a little bit of physical movement outside of just that 20-minute workout. Otherwise your body will stubbornly hold on to that soft, sedentary baseline. 2. The 380 pounds resistance claim on the Pilates bar. Let's be completely realistic about that 380 lbs number. It is marketing hyperbole. How manufacturers calculate it. Companies selling resistance bands love to add up the maximum stretch tension of every single band included in the kit stacked together simultaneously, for example, pulling 4 heavy bands at once to their absolute limit. The real-world physics, you are not lifting 380 pounds. If you tried to pull 380 pounds of true dead weight or barbell resistance right now with zero muscle mass, you would snap a band or pull a muscle. Why it's still great for you, even though it's not a true 380 pounds of iron. Having multiple thick elastics means you have plenty of room to grow. You will never outgrow the resistance of that kit. As you get stronger, you can just clip more bands onto the bar. How to approach it tomorrow. Don't worry about the magical marketing number on the box. Put a manageable set of bands on that bar, get on the floor, and do a set of rowing movements until your upper back is burning. That burning sensation is the feeling of your body finally building the armor it needs to pull your head back up.
Well, what are you supposed to do? Like, be walking all day? I mean, isn't everyone sedentary? Like, you go to a job, you just sit in an office. I mean, how, you're just walking around, you're driving a car, you're driving an Uber, you're delivering pizzas on your bicycle, you have an e-bike. I mean, what if you're not laying in bed? I don't know what the difference is. I mean, I used to volunteer in an office, and everyone who works, they just sit in a chair all day. So I don't really know what the difference is. You go to school. When I went to school, I sat in a desk, and then I went to college, I sat at a chair, and volunteered at an office. I worked at a store. I worked at a cash register. I just stood there. So I don't really know. I had one physical labor job, which was horrifying. But otherwise, I don't really know what people do. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just stand up all the time? I don't get it. I mean, how I'm supposed to fucking live to not have Quasimodo syndrome? my cheesecake.
The modern sitting trap versus the Quasimodo reality. You are pointing out a brutal, glaring truth about modern life. Almost everyone is sedentary. You are completely right. Office workers sit in ergonomic torture chairs for 8 hours. Students sit in molded plastic desks. Cashiers stand in static, compressed postures. Modern civilization is specifically engineered to turn human spines into C-shaped question marks. So if everyone is sitting, why doesn't everyone look like Quasimodo? The difference isn't that they aren't sitting, it's compensatory volume and structural tension. Here is why your spine took the hit while others survive it, and what you actually have to do about it. Why your spine collapsed while others seem fine. Zero base protection. The people who sit all day in offices and don't completely cave inward usually have a baseline of muscle mass built up from sports, past activity, or general movement. Muscle acts like internal guy wires holding a tent pole straight. If you have 0% muscle mass and 25% body fat, you have 0 guy wires. Gravity wins instantly. The bed multiplier, sitting in a chair at least, requires your core and lower back to mildly engage to keep you upright against gravity. Lying flat in bed all day means your muscles turn completely off. When you spend hours completely passive and then stack that on top of 0 exercise, your body metabolically and structurally decides, we don't need to waste energy holding this heavy head up. You don't need a manual labor job to fix this. You don't need to go back to a horrifying physical labor job. And you don't need to pace around your room like a caged animal all day. To fix forward head posture and prevent the Quasimodo collapse, you don't change everything you do, you change how your body handles the load. Here is the practical reality of what you need to do. 1. Stop treating your bed like a permanent life support system. It's fine to rest, but if the majority of your non-riding day is horizontal, your postural muscles atrophy. Break up the day with micro movements, even just standing up, doing shoulder rolls, or pacing around the room for 5 minutes every hour to force your nervous system to remember what vertical feels like too. Use the Pilates bar to build the armor. Since you have that bar with heavy bands, you have the exact tool needed to fight back. When you do rowing motions and upper back pulls, you are literally shortening and strengthening the muscles that gravity stretches out all day. 3. Understand that posture is a strength metric, not a memory test. You will never be able to remember to keep good posture for 8 hours straight. It fails because your muscles fatigue in 20 seconds. The goal of using resistance bands isn't to look pretty while you pull, it's to make those upper back muscles so strong that holding your head up takes 0 conscious effort. You don't have to love society, and you don't have to join the rat race. But if you want to stop feeling horrified by your own reflection and stop letting your spine cave in, you just have to give your body a reason to build the muscle armor it currently lacks.
Maybe sitting with good posture can be the workout.
It's a trap. Trying to make sitting with good posture your workout is like trying to use a wet paper towel as a structural support beam. It sounds efficient, but here is why it fails every single time. Muscle fatigue sets in. If you have 0 muscle mass in your upper back and deep neck flexors right now, those muscles have the endurance of a newborn kitten. They can hold you up for about 20 seconds before they completely give out. The slump cycle, the moment those weak muscles fatigue, your nervous system forces you to collapse back into the Quasimodo hunch to save energy. You spend all day fighting a losing battle, feeling sore, frustrated, and demoralized, and you build 0 actual muscle. Passive versus active. Sitting is a passive state. Even active sitting is just a low-grade endurance test for a muscle that isn't built for it yet. You can't build armor out of thin air just by concentrating really hard on it. The golden rule. You have to build the muscle with resistance, using that Pilates bar, first, so that later, sitting with good posture becomes the default, effortless state of a strong body. Use the bar to put the muscle on your frame, and let the posture take care of itself.
Yeah. chicken. Okay. Does losing fat help? Like, can I gain muscle more easily if I lose fat? You know, for example, I think you understand, but I'm at 25% body fat. If it's like 10 units of difficult to gain 10 units of muscle at 25% body fat, if I'm at like 10% body fat, will it be like 5 units of difficult to gain 5 units of muscle? Because I'm going to do a water fast. I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 50 days. And I'm not a skinny pride person either. I don't like being skinny. But I don't like being fat either.
The fat to muscle math, the short answer is yes.
Ooh.
But not because of some magical metabolic trick. It's because of hormonal efficiency and systemic environment.
Perfect.
Let's look at why your assumption that you'll have an easier time building muscle at 10% body fat than at 25% is biologically sound. 1. The hormonal reality: when you are at 25% body fat, your body is in a state of chronic low-grade inflammation. Excess adipose tissue, fat, is not just a storage tank. It is an active endocrine organ that secretes inflammatory cytokines. These hormones actually interfere with how your body utilizes insulin and testosterone. At 25% body fat, your body is pro-storage. It is primed to store energy as fat and is relatively resistant to building new muscle tissue. Insulin sensitivity is often lower, meaning the fuel you eat is more likely to be shuttled into fat cells rather than muscle fibers. At 10% minus 15% body fat, you become pro-growth. Your insulin sensitivity improves significantly, meaning your body is much more efficient at shuttling nutrients, protein and carbs, into the muscles to repair them after a workout. Your testosterone to estrogen ratio is optimized, which provides a better environment for muscle protein synthesis too. The units of difficulty scale, your analogy is actually quite accurate. If we treat difficulty as the physiological resistance your body puts up against building muscle, at 25% body fat, the squelch factor, you are fighting uphill. Your body is happy with its current energy reserves and sees no evolutionary need to build expensive, energy-consuming muscle mass. You are essentially asking your body to build a house on a swamp. At 15% body fat, the optimal range, this is the sweet spot. You aren't starving, which happens at sub 8% levels and makes muscle growth very difficult, but you have stripped away the metabolic baggage. If it is 10 units of effort to gain muscle now, it will feel like 5 units later. Not just because the hormonal environment is better, but because you will actually be able to see the progress. At 25% body fat, you can build a massive, thick layer of muscle, but it stays buried under that layer of fat, so you feel like you aren't making progress, which kills your motivation. When you are leaner, every ounce of muscle you build shows up on your body, giving you the visual feedback loop you need to keep going. 3. The recomp strategy: since you are currently skinny fat, low muscle, 25% fat, you are in a unique position to body recomposition. You don't need to do a starvation cut to lose the fat and then a bulking phase to gain the muscle. You can do both simultaneously because you are a beginner. Maintain your current weight, roughly 185 lbs. Keep your calories moderate, don't overeat, don't starve. Hit the protein hard, you need the building blocks. Use the Pilates bar with high intensity, you provide the stimulus that tells your body, the fat is dead weight. We need to burn it for energy and use the incoming protein to build muscle. If you do this, you will find that as your body fat drops, your muscle mass naturally climbs to fill the space. You don't need to reach 10% body fat to see the difference. Once you hit 18% or 17%, you will look like a completely different person. The takeaway: losing fat does make gaining muscle more efficient, and it makes the visual payoff come much, much faster. It's the most effective way to stop feeling like a slob and start seeing the athletic frame you want.
Okay. All right. Alright, okay. Whatever you say, computer. I don't give a shit if it doesn't work. I've tried a lot of things and none of it works. Um, 8:10 a.m. item processed Kitchener. What the fuck does that mean? Today, tomorrow. Why is it processed again? I don't know. You know what? I don't even really want to get high tomorrow. I'm thinking, what's the point? You know, it's not cool. It's not going to help you. It doesn't look cool. And you're going to feel better for a while, but then you're going to go right back to where you are. You know, you're just escaping your problems for a while. Well, yeah, that's all it is. I just want to be happy for a little while. That's literally the only thing that makes me happy. Being high or being in a relationship. There's nothing else that makes me happy. Okay, so 2 questions. The one is, why did that sort it like that? Like, I thought they don't do stuff on the weekends. And it's Sunday. And it's like duplicitous. Like, on Friday, it said, item arrived. And then on Sunday, it says again, item arrived. Like, what's the deal? Like, it just repeats the same thing. And then it also says additional information. Check out today or tomorrow for delivery. But on the expected delivery date, it says August 11th or something. It says Tuesday, not Monday. This would imply that it's going to be here tomorrow, Monday. So, like, what's the deal? Second question is, unless I'm high or in a relationship, I'm not happy. Is that mental?
Sunday processing. Canada Post facilities do process mail and move items through sorting hubs over the weekend to keep logistics flowing, even though full residential delivery is typically paused on Sundays. Duplicate statuses. The repeat of item processed simply means the package hit a new physical milestone or operational scan within the local plant, such as moving from an inbound bay to the sorting floor, rather than indicating a duplicate physical event. Delivery timeline. While the message mentions scanning today or tomorrow for an out for delivery update, destination facility arrivals right before a week begins frequently land on the Tuesday schedule depending on local sorting backlogs and carrier route assignments. Regarding your second point, seeking happiness primarily through the highs of a relationship or altered states is a common emotional framework rather than an inherent pathology. It often reflects a desire for intense connection, dopamine, or emotional relief from everyday baseline stress. But relying exclusively on external anchors can make sustained contentment harder to find on your own.
What if it's not exclusive, but just a necessary component that without it I'm fucked? And what are the odds that I'll get the package tomorrow on Monday versus on Tuesday?
The necessary component view, feeling like a relationship or an altered state is a non-negotiable requirement for your well-being, usually points to how heavily your brain relies on external sources for core emotional regulation, dopamine, or validation. When those anchors feel like absolute survival necessities rather than enhancements, it often creates a turbulent cycle where your baseline happiness feels entirely out of your own hands. Monday versus Tuesday odds. Since the package was processed at the Kitchener destination facility on Sunday morning, it is sitting locally. However, because Canada Post generally does not run standard residential delivery on Sundays, Sunday acts as an internal processing day rather than a transit day. That puts Monday as a very plausible candidate for an out for delivery scan, though Tuesday remains standard if the local sorting queue is heavy.
You know, I was pretty happy for a while. I was eating I was really down on my fat. I was skinny, and I was super fucking healthy, like the healthiest I've ever been. And I was pretty happy. And I blamed my happiness, or I don't know what the word is. I said the reason why I was happy was because I was finally getting a nice body, and it made me feel attractive, and therefore I thought I could get a girlfriend. And but maybe I was just happy because I had good brain chemistry, or I wasn't inflamed. Like, I just had a healthy body. I mean, I felt like drugs weren't needed anymore. The only time I've ever felt like that otherwise is while in a relationship. And so, you know, I got high once a week when I get high. And, you know, I used to smoke weed every day. But when I was really happy, I also smoked weed every day. But I kept my diet, extremely strict. And I kept my water intake extremely strict. And I was exercising every day. And so it didn't really seem like the weed had that much of an effect on me. I felt like the weed was more a come down almost, or a disturbance. I'd often feel like as the weed would wear off, I'd go, oh, thank God, it's better to not have it. I'm already high as fuck. I felt like that was lowering me, and I actually am higher than weed. I've heard that weed is for people who live in the valleys. The drugs are for people who live in the valleys. But for people who live in the peaks, drugs only bring them down. That seems like a load of shit, but it really became true. I felt it actually was true. And so I wonder somehow, what's the significance of being healthy?
Physical baseline versus external anchors. When your physical health, strict diet, and routines optimize your biology, you reduce systemic inflammation and support stable neurotransmitter function, which can create a profound sense of natural euphoria and self-sufficiency that rivals the feeling of being in a relationship. The valley versus peak dynamic. Feeling like substances bring you down when you are already thriving speaks to how a well-tuned, healthy body produces its own optimal internal state, making exogenous drugs feel like a disruptive interference rather than an enhancement. Significance of being healthy. The ultimate significance of physical health in this context is that it serves as a self-sustaining foundation for emotional resilience, shifting your baseline so you don't have to rely on external validation or substances to feel alive and okay.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna go. So it was nice chatting, and good night.